Hey, what's up? So let's talk about Ken Tamplin. So I like Ken Tamplin. He's a phenomenal singer, great vocal instructor. I've actually used his program before and I got a lot out of it. Now, my understanding is that he's currently sort of embroiled in like a lip syncing controversy or something like that. Personally, I don't really give that much of a crap about that. Like, all of my vocal covers are lip synced, and, I've just never mentioned it before because I always thought it was so obvious that it went completely without saying. That said, there's an old video that he made called 5 Reasons Why Speech Level Singing Doesn't Work that has always rubbed me the wrong way, and I have never quite felt knowledgeable enough to put my finger on exactly why. Well, now I do. So let's do it. So the first thing I want to ask is, what does speech level singing doesn't work even mean? Actually, no, let's take it even further back. What even is speech level singing? Speech level singing, or SLS, is a school of vocal technique that teaches you to sing the way you speak, right? So in other words, if you talk like this, you should sing like this. Ken Tamplin contrasts speech level singing with his own open throat technique, which is derived from the Bel Canto school. So in other words, your, big operatic singing like, run to the hill, that kind of fucking shit. Now, to me, it seems completely and totally self-evident that any singer who does not draw some influence from both these two schools and approaches is putting a serious cap on their skills as a singer, right? Honestly, to me, a statement like speech level singing doesn't work feels about as asinine as, for example, a breakfast chef whose specialty is eggs saying orange juice doesn't work. Like, what? What does that mean? Seriously, what the fuck are you talking about? Honestly, that might even be giving it too much credit because some of the best and most successful singers who have ever lived have been trained in speech level singing. So it is just a fact that speech level singing works. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So now it's possible that when he says that it doesn't work, he could mean that if you want to sing 80s rock and metal, it's going to be inefficient, which I do not disagree with. I think that if you're someone like me who wants to just sing nothing but metal, I mean, let's be fucking honest, I'm just gonna be singing metal. Ken's program, or a program very similar to it, is going to be a necessity at some point, right? But that is a far cry from speech level singing doesn't work. In a world where the most successful singers alive are like Billie Eilish and Ed Sheeran, what do you want from me? I'm in love with your body. The idea that you need open throat bel canto singing to be a singer or a successful singer is patently absurd, right? Anyways, let's take a look at Ken's 5 reasons SLS doesn't work. Number 1, it wasn't designed for singing, it was designed for speaking.
The first thing, by design, it was not designed for singing, it was designed for speaking.
Citation needed. Seriously, that's a pretty big claim, and it requires more backing up than, none whatsoever. And even if it were true, so what? Like, Coca-Cola used to have fucking cocaine in it. Now it doesn't. Things change. How and why a vocal technique was developed has no bearing whatsoever on whether or not it does what people study it to do.
So anything above a whisper or above your speaking register, it does not provide the support mechanism for big, strong, powerful singing. It's not even in it.
So it doesn't provide support for anything stronger than a whisper. Hit it, Johnny.
So anything above a whisper, it's not even in it.
Incorrect. Number 2, it doesn't emphasize the bright ah sound that Ken Tamplin says is the only sound that grows the voice.
Second, it does not teach the tone and the bright timbral sound, which is the only real sound that grows the voice. A nice bright ah, ah.
No, SLS teaches a wide variety of different vowel sounds, some of which are very bright and some of which are very dark, some of which are very open, some of which are very closed. So one of the big problems with only teaching the ah vowel sound is that, wait for it, every vowel sound you sing ends up sounding like an ah, which theoretically isn't like the worst thing in the world when it comes to other super bright, super open vowel sounds. But what if you want to sing a closed vowel sound like E or oo? You're fucked. You are left with nothing but your dick in your hand. See, as much as I did ultimately like Ken's program, one of the worst bad habits that I ended up picking up from it is that I ended up trying to sing all vowel sounds with an equal degree of openness, which meant that I needed to compensate by using a lot of vowel modification, which meant that my pronunciation ended up really fucking weird. And I had to spend a lot of time correcting that. Number 3, it teaches early bridging, which atrophies the upper chest register.
Third, it teaches early bridging. It teaches bringing your head voice down into your chest voice way too early in order to be able to not quote unquote build strain. If you don't strengthen your chest register, it will atrophy over time.
Hey, you know what else can atrophy if you don't use it enough? Your lower mixed voice. See, what happens when a singer trains themselves to not switch into head voice until they've reached the end of the notes they have in their chest range is that all the notes right before their break end up sounding super strained and ugly like fucking Principal McVicker.
Beavis and Butthead, you're both expelled!
And all the notes right after the break end up sounding weak and underdeveloped, which means that the entire passaggio is going to be a problem. So where do you really want to get into the habit of bridging? Well, the answer is everywhere. The only way to develop true freedom of your entire range is to build strength at the top of your chest register and the bottom of your head register at every note you have available, which means you have to know how to bridge early and you have to know how to bridge late. Number 4, it doesn't provide a bright head timbre that matches the tone of the chest voice.
Fourth, it does not teach the bright ping in your head voice register as you bring that sound down to match the tone of your call register or your chest register.
Yes, it does. Like, I don't even know what to add to that. That's like practically the only thing that speech level singing teaches. How to develop a strong, consistent, mixed voice that unifies all the resonances. I don't know what else to say about that. Number 5, it's bogged down with too many exercises that have no practical application in singing.
Fifth, it's bogged down with a ridiculous amount of unnecessary exercises and things that have absolutely no real practical application for singing.
So saying that SLS doesn't work because it has too many exercises that have no practical application is like saying that lifting weights doesn't work because it has no practical application in sports. Like, you're literally a voice teacher. Like, that's what you do for a living. And you are claiming to not understand that the purpose of exercises is to build strength and technique in your own personal private practice time, and that it doesn't have to have a practical application. If anything, the exercises taught in SLS have more practical application in singing than the kind that Ken Tamplin likes teaching, which mostly consist of just singing scales up and down, which, to be clear, has a time and place. But the exercises taught in SLS train you in connecting a wide variety of consonant sounds to a wide variety of vowel sounds at a wide variety of volumes in a wide variety of resonances.
Let me give you an example of this. I saw an SLS teacher not that long ago, a very famous one, say, I'm going to teach you how to bridge. And one of the best ways to get you to bridge is to meow. So he goes, meow, as proof that that's bridging. Well, there's no practical application for that for singing whatsoever.
Again, you're a voice teacher. I don't believe for 1 second that you don't understand the value of using common sounds that people are used to making as a jumping off point for helping students feel out obscure, complicated vocal technique. Let me put it another way. Let's say we have 2 students who need to learn how to bridge. Tell one of them, use your pharyngeal resonance to gradually shift from head resonance to chest resonance while keeping the soft palate raised and the larynx neutral, and tell the other student, go like this. Meow! And see which one of them figures out bridging first.
Let me ask you a question. Is he going to teach you to bark like a dog next? Come on, guys, seriously.
Oh, burn. Hey, out of curiosity, what technique do you use to teach vibrato?
The best thing you do is you boo like a ghost, right?
Ghosting? That has no practical application in singing. And let me ask you a question. Is he gonna have me go, brains, like a zombie next? I mean, come on.
I mean, at one point, we thought the world was flat. And now we know better, right?
So I actually like this analogy, but I think it works a little bit better like this. The invention of speech level singing is the discovery that the world is round. And the idea that speech level singing doesn't work is the modern flat earth movement. Although that actually might be a bad example because for all I know, Ken actually believes that.
Now, I believe in something called chemtrails. What are chemtrails? They're chemical trails being sprayed on us by, call me a conspiratorialist, whatever, but by world government that...
Sure, why not? So in conclusion, I am not saying that Ken Tamplin is a bad instructor or that his method does not work. I'm saying that he's wrong when he says that speech level singing doesn't work, because he is. Speech level singing has a proven, demonstrable track record in producing powerful, dynamic, expressive singing, and anyone looking to learn voice needs to at least have it on their radar. I really want to emphasize that I have nothing against Ken Tamplin. I used his program, I found it incredibly helpful, and I would have no hesitation recommending it to anyone, particularly to people who want to learn 80s rock and modern power and symphonic metal. See, Ken's program is basically a crash course in hardcore strength training, right? And for people like me, that's really good because in order to sing metal, you need that brute strength. But to be the kind of singer that people really, really remember, you need more than that. Even if you're going to be singing metal, you still need more than that.
Infinite dreams, I can't deny them.
See, singing is not just another instrument, right? Singing is the human element of music. Singing is the part of music that people invest in emotionally because it is the part of music that most strongly resembles verbal human communication, i.e. speech. This is where speech level singing comes in. And the thing that's important to remember is that whenever you hear somebody with a product to hawk claim that their way is the only valid way and that everyone else is wrong, the red flags should start going off in your head. When I started off learning singing and I was studying SLS, I secretly got kind of worried that I was learning singing the wrong way because people like Ken, who clearly know what they're talking about, were telling me that I was. But in retrospect, I absolutely was growing my voice at the faster end of what could realistically be expected from a brand new voice student. Obviously, this is universally applicable. Like, if I ever say that my opinions are the only ones that matter or that ANUBIS is the best metal band ever, my current self will be incredibly disappointed if no one calls me on my bullshit. So yeah, learn how to sing with whatever school or approach or technique you want. Just make sure you see an instructor who will teach you proper technique, and make sure you just spend an hour or two a day practicing every single day for several years, and you will get good. I certainly do not claim to be the best singer in the world or even necessarily a good singer, but if I can become baseline presentable, then literally anyone on the planet can.
Just pawns in your twisted game! Beavis and Butthead, you're both expelled!